Hello and welcome to this webinar recap on selling art from online marketplaces. My name is Susan Mumford. I'm founder of Be Smart About Art Today, and today I am delighted to have with us artist Paola Minekov. Welcome, Paola.
Well, it's great to be here.
I'm delighted to have you, and what we're going to do is find out some top tips from Paola on this need really to increasingly, that is, to sell art from not only exhibitions and your own website, but also third-party sites. Before we dive into a few questions that I've got for Paola, tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what you make, and really kind of how you got into selling art online.
I'm a fine artist. I come from Bulgaria, and at the moment I live in London. I've been here since 2008, so yeah, this is the city I call home. And I have a background in art as well as communications, which is probably why I was a bit of an early adopter when it comes to Artfinder, but of course, like, there's other platforms that have been around for a while longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, okay, you getting onto Artfinder, and I know you will in the future continue to have a great online presence. I've got 3 questions for you, and the first one is really revolving around the profile that you set up. So yourself as an artist, just like any gallery who's on a marketplace, you've got your own little, almost a mini site, your own images and your bio, that kind of thing. So what, in your experience, is important in terms of what you put onto your profile and how that functions within the site?
Well, mini portfolio is a very good way to describe it, I think. So the most important thing, obviously, is the images of the artworks and how you describe it, keywords, tags, like how you can make each piece of art engaging for the audience. But of course, it's a lot about you as an artist and as a person. So Artfinder has this section, Me at Work, where you can upload videos and images and press snippets and all sorts of information about you. You have a biography section, obviously, but that's a bit dry. It's text. Images, again, you have, the picture that says 1,000 words. And I think that's very important about building reputation and then making yourself as a seller on Artfinder or another marketplace much more trustworthy.
Yes, of course, and so what you put on there and keeping it up to date means that people will see you as a credible professional artist. You've talked about being able to also embed videos into your profile, which means
which is great.
Yeah, you could be in the studio, you could be there talking to people about your practice, and I guess you become more you and the artworks, it all becomes more tangible.
I think so.
Yeah, and presumably having multiple images of the artworks as well.
Well, it's really important. I don't necessarily have multiple images of every artwork I've uploaded, but I think it's recommended to do it. Sometimes something that Artfinder feels quite strongly about, and I can imagine other platforms do that as well.
And you don't, like you said to me previously, you don't actually necessarily have to literally have if it's painting, as in your case, most of the time, it doesn't have to actually be framed. Yeah.
But you can imagine that you're trying to sell a sculpture.
Right.
Then you probably want images from different angles, and if it's painting, you can still have the painting in progress as you're making it. You can have the painting exhibited at the show. You can have it in an interior. I think we mentioned that you can like Photoshop a frame around it in the worst case scenario to give an idea of the scale and make the product more tangible and physical.
Yeah, and actually the Photoshop thing can be surprisingly effective for making it look real.
It can be. It is a lot of work. It's probably easier to just take a nice photo of it, but I suppose if you have good images of interiors, you can do that as well.
Absolutely. Insofar then as being effective, we've now got a strong profile. What about being active as somebody who's on this platform?
It's one of the most important things for Artfinder, and I can imagine Saatchi Online and a lot of other websites that combine a marketplace with a social media experience. The more you upload, the more visibility you get, because you show up in newsletters and on the section of latest uploaded artworks. Could be by style or just all the latest uploaded artworks. and you draw more attention to yourself. You get more likes or loves, and more shares, and then more people see the artwork, and it can snowball like that.
And is it also, insofar as being active, is it also outside of the actual platform? Is it on social media and email marketing?
It is. You have like all the sharing buttons and all that stuff. It's up to the artists to share their own artwork, and I think quite a lot of people also just share artwork from Artfinder. I found images of my art on Pinterest or whatever, shared from Artfinder
by other people.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I mean it's there's a thing about images. It's really easy to engage, being active is the thing. So you also have the reverse situation where you're not active, your profile is kind of forgotten in a corner of the internet. Right. Same as your portfolio website could be, or any other website.
Of course.
And then you just get no attention, and you get no sales, and you get no engagement with the audience. And I suppose you have to engage with your audience and your colleagues and other art professionals.
Well, it's not a matter of just setting up a profile and expecting it to suddenly magically work, just like your website. And in fact, I know you've also talked about when you do social media, when you include in this case, the Artfinder @handle, then they will very often repost you.
Very often, yes. They really do engage with the artists. And
and that helps with the
social
promotion.
Media, they're really good at social media and have a lot of followers.
And yeah, it really is something to the contrary of what many people would assume, that you think, okay, you go into a marketplace and that marketplace does all of the promotion for you. The truth being, though, as you talk about, it's a joint venture between yourself and that platform. Well, last but not least, I've got a question about not putting all of your eggs in one basket. The basket in this case being one of those online platforms. What do you mean when you talk about that?
Well, I mean that you need to retain control of your career, because if you don't, then anything might happen. So you can have a profile on Artfinder, and I honestly think it's a wonderful website, but it should not be the only way of selling your art and getting your work out there. And
we don't know what's going to happen to them.
No, you don't know what's going to happen to them. They could disappear tomorrow. They could change the way they do business, which may no longer align with your, hopefully, marketing strategy, which you surely have as an artist. And that's very important, because if, in this case, Artfinder, but any other marketplace or website or gallery that sells your art does something you disagree with or doesn't work with the way you want to do things, then you need to have an easy way to move away without losing all the work you've put into it.
Right.
And of course, perhaps different styles of artwork work better on different online marketplaces and online galleries. So it's something to consider. And in my opinion, you should always have your own way of selling your art through your own website, same as you need to have your own blog hosted on your website and have your own, having a Facebook account is not enough. You need to have your control of your own content. So that's what I think.
Most definitely. And whilst the foundation of what you're doing is a creative practice, it's being an artist, it's also being able to balance that with making a living. And we're talking here how about to do that in a sustainable way that's not relying on a third-party business that they could go out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so you've got to really think about
So you need
how
to have
do that.
your long-term planning and like a number of options that you feel can work well for you, and then explore them.
Brilliant. That has been absolutely fantastic. Paola, how do people stay in touch with you?
Well, people go and check out my portfolio website, which is www.paolaminekov.com. They can email me. I reply very fast. It's art@paolaminekov.com. And of course, connect with me on Facebook and Twitter and all the social media platforms where my name is, again, Paola Minekov. So just look me up.
And that is a final gem in the fact that she's very consistently Paola Minekov. So when you look online, you will be able to find her. She's even got a Wikipedia page. Paola, thank you very much for providing insight today, and we look forward to following your ongoing practice and ongoing creations going forward.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Good. Likewise.